All right, ladies and gentlemen, good day. We are off onto our next episode, and our next episode has all to do with time management and task management. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Mr. Johansson and Ms. Riley. And so, real quick, just in case we have freshmen that don't know you or don't have you yet, what do you teach, Ms. Riley?
I teach English, juniors and seniors, and public speaking and debate.
Okay, so mainly kind of upper level kids, but also some upper level classes as well.
Yes.
Okay, now Mr. Johansson, where are you at? What are you up to?
I pretty much have the freshman world geography required by all freshmen, and then I also teach AP human geography.
Okay, so you're kind of have a little bit more of a mix, but more freshman oriented beginning of the list.
Correct.
I think it's important that we have both kind of age groups and both difficulties represented, because there's different skills that you need to have at each level. I mean, arguably, to be successful in your class, Ms. Riley, you better have more skills for study and time management than you have for Mr. Johansson's class as a freshman. And likewise, you probably organize your class a little more differently than she's going to organize an upper level class. What are some things that you would do for kind of an entry level or a freshman level class that you would make sure you kind of guided students along that maybe at an upper level class or maybe in your class you wouldn't necessarily lay straight out for the kid?
I would say probably just the outline of the course. I would give them in small segments versus longer time periods to do stuff, so I had a little bit more control over when they did something, so I could help them with the time management versus allowing them to figure out that time management piece on their own. Like, oh, you've got 2 weeks until this is due. I'm probably not doing that as much. We're going day by day, trying to keep it on schedule.
Now, in your classes, probably you're giving them a lot more leeway, right? Mm-hmm. Would you really step it piece by piece like Mr. Johansson was describing?
No, and for my seniors especially, within the last 2 months, they have 3 or 4 projects at the same time that they're doing.
So
they have the due dates, and it gets assigned, and you just have then until the due date to get it done.
okay, so if I'm in Johansson's class, I walk in like, all right, well, maybe Friday he needs this from me, like next Friday he needs this thing from me, and we're doing this one. In your class, I wouldn't necessarily have Mr. Johansson telling me that on Friday I need to do this, and then next Friday I need to do this, and the next Friday maybe this. You're saying I may have I have debate I have to have prepared this week, but also I'm also doing research on like maybe the next project, and then the next thing, there's like multiple things going on at once, and I'm responsible for organizing that. See, that's a lot different. And I guess, folks, that's what we're wanting to kind of talk about here a little bit. We have 2 things that we're going to talk about. Task management, meaning what do I have to get done? So in Ms. Riley's case, this project, and this project are all 3 separate things that are happening at the same time, versus time management, where how am I going to get all that stuff in? When am I going to work on that? Versus maybe Mr. Johansson's class, he's going to help me a little bit line that stuff out, particularly time management. So, like on your projects, do you kind of set like kind of checkpoints or steps along the process?
Correct. A lot of it's going to be, I tried to tell the students, they're probably in freshman geography, being that the freshman year, they're not going to get a bunch of just assigned homework. If they don't use their time in class when we're working on it, they could have homework every single night. But when we do that, it's set up that way specifically so I can guide them in the time management. But for like a bigger project like you're talking about, we're going to do several of those. Yes, there's checkpoints. It's this day, we should have this done by now. And then on this next time we check in, we should have this accomplished. So they know exactly what is the expectation. They can clearly work ahead, but they understand the expectations for when things should be due.
But that's like freshman. Now, by the time you're junior or senior, yours doesn't look like that at all. No, it's really kind of on who's it on to get it accomplished.
The students.
Yeah. And what are the costs for not getting things accomplished in each of your classes? And what's the first thing, obviously?
Oh, sure, you get a late grade.
Okay.
You know, if you don't accomplish something by a due date that I give you, it's late. Whether it's
Okay.
1 minute or it's 1 day, it's late.
And do you take like a deduction on that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you do late grades?
I do, but they have to write a late essay.
So wait a minute. If I turn my paper in just a little bit late, not only still got to do the paper, I got to do this other paper telling you why I'm late. She's for real, y'all. She is for real. Okay, but now this is perfect because this is what we're talking about here. We don't expect second graders, third graders to have a planner and to have everything lined out. And even in junior high, you start moving into subject-specific classes, but it's going to be lined out for you. By the time we get to freshmen, the kids, you got to step it up from being an 8th grader to being a freshman. And that's what part of this process is it's training kids and stepping them up. But that's not the end because you're saying step it up. Now, is it just because Miss Riley's mean? Is
Yes.
that why she does it?
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
I-
it's just because she's mean.
That's what I hear.
I think there's probably a little deeper reason than that. Why do you organize it that way? Why do you make them write the late paper? Why can't you just do it like Johansson? Because this is easy. I like his.
So I don't think that if they can give me the test or the essay or whatever it is, and they do it the right way, then their grade shouldn't be penalized because their grade should reflect what they can and can't do. If they can write the essay and get an A on it, regardless of if it's a week late or not, they still performed well. But it's late, there has to be a consequence. Regardless if you go to college or you get a job, you have to make sure that your due dates are on time, that you show up to work on time, etc. So for my seniors who are going to college, it's perfect because professors do the same thing. A lot of projects all at once, you're on your own to kind of figure it out, so it prepares those guys. And then the ones who are like, well, I don't need college, I'm going to get a job right out of high school. That's great, but you still have to make sure that you're doing your things on time.
Well, and I think that's really what we're all about. You know, people like, well, I like Mr. Johansson because he does it this way. I don't like Miss Riley because maybe they like it the other way around. I don't know. But it's not that we set our different classes up differently because we are nice or because we're mean. It's because we all actually have the same goal. If you were teaching seniors, would your classes look a lot more like Miss Riley's?
Sure. My AP Human Geography class, I don't make them write an extra essay, but it's very similar to that. That we've got several things going on at once. You better be on top of your game. It's taught like a intro college level course. So the expectations are that you're doing stuff outside of the classroom, not just waiting for my direction to tell you. Whereas I've got a lot more, focused attention on those freshmen. I'm trying to help get to them on their own.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to do because, guys, we've kind of all done this a while and we kind of know what a freshman is capable of. We also know what a senior should be capable of because you're right, we're not training you to get a diploma. We want you to get that yes, please do, okay? But we're training you to get a job, to go to college, to step to the next level. And if we're not expecting at least some preparation for next level work, you're never going to get to the next level. And that is really kind of what we're talking about here, is you got to have not just time management in the sense that, well, I got it done on time or at the last minute or I crammed it all in. You need to prepare your time and you need to set your time such that I know where I'm at here, I know where I have to get to, how many intermediate steps do I need to get to, and Mr. Johansson might set those for me as a freshman. But as we move through, we're going to take those supports away so that by the time you get to Miss Riley, you can get the whole direction on your own.